Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hey, good morning. All right, I was thinking that I might have to be an audio-only day today. Dragging a little bit here. I have been tired, but hey, I decided, nope, okay, I got to be here for you, so I'm going to turn the camera on. Maybe we can all give each other some energy here. So here we are. So good morning. Welcome to my home. Welcome to the office, and welcome to the morning grind. Stuff is happening, but like I said, maybe I need to. I'm trying to do some, at least go for a walk or something like that today. Stretch my legs, even though a lot is happening, and there's a lot more that's got to get done. Where's the man? It's still this gigantic stack of stuff. Although I like it when things are happening. So hey, good morning, PH. Good morning. Yes, to all the grinders of the world. Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, Robert. And okay, yeah. So this is a big new thing right here. I was like, hey, we got the Titterpig Rancher here in the chat. And that is Sable Phoenix. So Sable Phoenix is now the Titterpig Rancher. All right, my new channel dressing affects everything. So Sable Phoenix. So that's two of our regulars here who have started their own channel and are going in that direction. So the Titter Pig Rancher. In fact, let me go and check out your channel. Can I just look that up? So you've got the styling ready for it now. Everybody head over to check out the Titter Pig Rancher. I may have to just do it from the chat here. Can I not do that? Oh, can I not go directly to your channel? I will see. Okay. So, yeah, I figured so. Nothing's there yet. You're just getting it set up. Robert says major AI update. Assistance API fully integrated with the web version of the game. Uses code and interpreter with Python to select characters and rolls all dice to determine non-combat actions based on dice range. Very nice. Has anybody been playing with the new open AI voice features? I saw that it finally became available like yesterday or hours ago. I will subscribe to Chat GPT for a little while and then turn it off. And is it worth doing? I don't know. I think we need to, as far as topics on Table Talk, we still need to return to the topic of AI because, man, there is so much stuff happening there. I mean, when I was doing the music video for You Can't Summon Cthulhu with Sour Cream and Onion, that took me longer to do than I was expecting. Took me about a month to do. And during that time, there were things that were coming out that I didn't have available at the start, and so everything is so fast. And I'm really excited about that. I'll tell you how I'm feeling with regard to that. I've got so much material over here that I've got to get out. In one important sense, I really don't need to make any more material. I have got so much on this channel. I have got so much on the Table Talk channel. Sherry Lee has been helping me get it out. There are so many clips. I mean, we've talked about so much on that channel, and there are so many clips to be released over there. Of course, there's still a whole nother season of The Cultists, which has not been re-released and won't be re-released until after the Kickstarter that I've got over here. And yet I still generate more ideas. Of course, I'm excited because I want to do I'm thinking about doing another music video. This one about the cult of Shub that uses animation. I mean, uses some live action footage as well, but also probably integrate some animation because I think that could probably be done pretty well. I want to be able to use that kind of tech for the Tales of Ravavania. Because I think it'll work. But I want to do another test. But I was thinking about that, and then that got me thinking about another way to do some things for dinner and a board game. And then I had additional thoughts about how I could do things for another comedy web show that I had in my mind for a while, but very, very much in the back of my mind. But I don't even want to think about all that because I've got so much stuff out right now that has got to be either watched or got to Kickstarter or stuff like that. But I've got more ideas than I know what to do with. I mean, I need to be sitting here for 12 hours a day at the computer creating stuff. There's that much stuff, and I think it's only going to get easier, and there's going to be more stuff as AI keeps changing. It's incredible. Okay, so Robert says that we're going to be talking about Warhammer Quest today. So Robert says, I think it's ready for the alpha playtest. We got images, combat, action generations. I'll share more information in the Discord. Excellent. I know this has been a major project. Hey, Mike. Good morning. Oh, there we go. Direct link. Oh, did that link not come through? Well, it came through on the screen, but there we go. All right, so there we go. We will check that out. Make sure you put that also in the Discord server so everybody knows to start looking there when stuff comes out. Good morning, Gamers Quest. Good morning. Good morning, Ryan Hobbs. I don't know if I've seen you in the chat yet. Good morning. Let's take a sip to Ryan Hobbs. In fact, it's about time to breathe and sip. Okay. All right. See you in there. Okay. Let's go ahead and breathe and sip here. I'll bring this up. So we're going to continue to look at this Warhammer quest. I'm really liking what we're seeing here. But let's breathe and sip. I got Witch's Brew today. Witch's Brew right here. Let's do a breathe and sip. 2 deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Breathe and sip. All right, let's breathe. 2 deep breaths. And let's sip. Okay, I think it's going to be a good day. I think it's going to be a good day. I tried to get up early this morning. Well, I did get up early this morning. I was talking to Doug at 4 o'clock this morning in the coffee shop. He's having phenomenal success getting up earlier and working on his book. He was talking about how the sequel to the Faraway Bird, the trilogy about the Empress Theodora, he has gotten major progress done in the last month. He said he's gotten done like 6 or 7 months of progress, or a year. Man, no, I think he said he's done like a year's worth of progress by getting up. And we've been working for about 3 hours in the morning. I had to go back to sleep this morning. I got up and was talking to him and was sorting through, okay, what's my next task here? What do I need to do? But then I had to go back to sleep. So now I'm here. So now I got to use the morning grind to get energy and then go and start stuff again. Hey, by the way, let me go ahead. Let me take this down. Let me take this down and bring something else up just to show you. So, okay. So I am working on getting people's attention on the Cultists RPG and $500 gaming dice giveaway. So if you are here and you haven't seen it, I need to remember to talk about this every day because we might be drawing in new people like Ryan here. So we've got so if you are not yet the Cultists $500 Elder Dice Guild giveaway, I'm basically putting my hands into building this particular list for the Cultists, because there's going to be a lot of cool stuff on the Kickstarter, but it doesn't make any sense if I run it and nobody's there. So I have been trying to do some advertising, get some attention to this. So, but if you're here and you're not subscribed yet to this, or you haven't signed up for this list and this giveaway, please do it. Let's see. I just checked a moment ago, and we got 100 and, oh, no, that's not an updated number. I'll give you the number. Here is our updated number of people who have are coming in for the giveaway in the RPG. We've got 241 people. So that was more than the last time we reported, right? Wasn't it like 220 the last time I reported in? So 241 people are there. So, all right. And I'll show you that if you are on Facebook, I was putting this out on Facebook. Of course, I put out the last music video on the Cultist channel, but also I put it out over here on Facebook, on the Cultist Facebook, just yesterday. So we got 7 comments. Like who's this? OC Collier says that I need the song on Spotify. I have no idea how to get it to go on Shopify. But of course, I put it on the YouTube channel for the Cultists. But then also we got like 41 reactions and comments, and that basically just started. So that's going here. So I'm going to put the link also if you are on Facebook and you want to share that the You Can't Summon Cthulhu with Sour Cream and Onion music video, and get some other people interested in knowing what we're doing on that side of things. I need to do some just promotion about the morning grind, I think. But here is the Cultists Facebook. page, and you will find that link if you would like to find that post with the sour cream and onion music video embedded, and that's got a link right there to the page. So that all that stuff's going on. So I'm kind of following that, watching that, tracking numbers and things like that. I'm going to advertise some of the shirts too. I'm just trying to get all of that structure put up and put in place. So Tiny Tactician, oh, thank you. Tiny Tactician says, hi, longtime listener, first time caller. Well, welcome, welcome. Let's sip to Tiny Tactician. Good time seeing you. Good seeing you for the first time in the chat. So anyway, that's what's going on. I am working on some additional advertising for that because I do want to advertise the shirts. I think the sour cream, you can't summon Cthulhu with sour cream and onion shirts. People need to know that we've got that, but also actually the Cultist Coffee and the Witch's Brew shirts with the spoofs of the Starbucks logo may draw some attention. So that needs to get out. Oh, Tiny Tactician loves Malsritter. So yeah, we loved that one too. Okay, fantastic. All right, so that's coming down now. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get all that going together. There's a lot that you have to do because you have to do all of this by yourself, from the creation of everything through all of the marketing and everything like that. So I know sometimes it feels like there's nothing going on, because it certainly feels like that to me, but there is actually stuff that's being done all the time. All right, let me stop screen sharing there and bring back up our Warhammer quest. We're going to be looking over here at settlements. I may need to get something else to drink here. All right, I'm already feeling better this morning. I got a lot of work to do today, and I was dragging. Okay. We went through animals, carts, and traveling, and the journey's end, and the hazards table. So we were on settlements. So how do they handle this? Now, I thought that it was interesting that they didn't have you on a map of the old world. They had you kind of going through traveling in a kind of abstract way, which I don't think is bad. The armor, where am I looking for? Oh, this is settlement events. Oh, I thought this was our hazard events. Well, okay, there's a lot to settlements. Oh, here we are. Okay, here we are, our section that we were in. The Fated Edge, let me turn this off. The Fated Edge got put on the back burner because we did the Cultist RPG. So I decided to go back to the beginning and do the whole relaunch of season 1, which I am very glad which I'm very glad that I did, because I feel like, okay, go back to the beginning. Like, how are we making forward progress? Well, I went back and I said, all right, we're going to try to relaunch the Cultist season 1, do the RPG for it, relaunch season 1. Brianna, we re-edited some things, created some new videos with like the music videos and things like that, completely reworked all of the graphics, did the RPG for it. I wanted to bring out the shirts. So that's been kind of a big deal to have gone back and relaunched all of that. But I'm glad that I have, because I think we're getting some attention, and I think we're getting this in the rebranding and things like that is working. I think so. We may be getting some attention on that. So then we're actually doing this right here, this research. We're doing this deep dive into several different adventure games here as research for Fated Edge. So it's likely that what's going to happen is that that's going to turn into a adventure game with an RPG kind of expansion, very similar to how they're doing right here. So we will see. So that's coming. So we're going to start working on that again soon. Except for, the Tiny Tactician does actually have a mouse. I didn't notice until now as the avatar. So that's what's going on. So we're going to be working on Faded Edge again after we do this research right here. That's why I've been taking all these notes. Where are my notes? On things I like about these games and things that I don't. So, yep, kind of got slowed down. Like I said, that's another talking about all the ideas that I've got. Oh, I had Faded Edge too. And I really want to create a Hero Quest style game. That's one of the things I really want to be able to do. But slow down, relaunch, rethink, try to get some traction. That's what's going on. So this is, I wish I had been able to play this one too. Oh, Brett says relaunching, I think, was a great idea. It should have way more views. I think so too. Because one way, you never really know what's right. But anyway, I decided, all right, we're going back to the beginning, and I'm reworking all the way through my projects again from the start. Hopefully, with all the knowledge that I've accumulated from trying to launch them the first time. And there was an argument that somebody's like, okay, well, the cultists, the original cultists season was our first attempt at creating a scripted show, and is the production quality up to professional standards? Well, no, and there's things you would do differently, probably so. But on the other hand, I think it's totally good enough for YouTube. I think it's totally good enough to start on YouTube and attract more attention than it did. So that's the route that I've taken. It's taken a lot longer than I was expecting, though. This whole process of relaunch and getting all this underway has taken a lot longer than I expected. But everything does, I guess, as long as it works out. Okay, so settlements. Whatever their size, settlements in the Warhammer world are busy places, teeming with activity as the inhabitants strive to make a living. Peddlers accost the warriors on the streets to sell them trinkets, while merchants loudly proclaim the quality of their wares. To the wary traveler, such settlements are like an oasis in a desert, offering the prospect of a decent meal and a real bed after months in the wild. Okay, so, and one of the things also, in addition to going to an abstraction, the abstraction of a city or a town or a village, we weren't trying to actually go onto a hex map and try to get to a particular city like they were doing in the enhanced advanced hero quest. We're going to an abstraction here, and we're actually spending the time on the back side of the quest, which is opposite from how I was envisioning. Okay, we need some type of an event that happens as you get to the questing location that impacts the quest in some way, but can be played in about 15 minutes. This allows you to go right to the start of your adventure quest, and then it's going to take you time to get to some kind of settlement afterwards. So that is reversed. That's interesting. Okay, so unfortunately, there's another side to every settlement, lurking just below the gaudy and brash veneer of civilization that the haggard and unkept traveler would do well to be aware of. The warriors are regarded with a certain amount of suspicion in most settlements and are often shunned and ignored completely. I also remember that Shadows of Brimstone had a kind of extensive settlement area, and that's why I kind of was seeing Shadows of Brimstone being an extension of this style of gaming. Of course, that's Wild West Cthulhu. Wasn't there another game that somebody said that we should take a look at? Now I know I want to take a look at that one. And also, I think the League of Dungeoneers. Was there something? Was there another one? I don't see that in the notes. But anyway. Traders may refuse to deal with outlandishly dressed strangers, shutting up shop as they approach. The local militia will often detain such travelers, questioning them about their intent, where they have come from, and about the events in the far-flung places they have been to. If the warriors' answers are deemed insufficient to allay the suspicions of the guard captain, in the best case, they may be hauled before the local magistrates and unceremoniously hurled out of town. In the worst case, they may be convicted of witchcraft and burnt at the stake. Besides the sort of offhand reception that the warriors may encounter, they should also be vigilant of the pickpockets, muggers, and cutthroats who wake down every back alley, ready to pounce on the unwary that relieves them of both their money and their lives. Oh, Tiny Tactician says Shadows of Brimstone is goated. An amazing game. I think I got to play twice, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, Tiny Tactician says, if I had infinite time, I'd play campaigns of that. Okay, Gamer's Quest, okay, kind of agrees. So there's so many games we play with infinite time, right? Gamer's Quest says, Shadows of Brimstone is the spiritual grandbaby of Warhammer Quest, one of the closest modern games mechanically to Warhammer Quest there is. League of Dungeoneers is another one. Okay, so I do want to, I might have to get League of Dungeoneers. A friend of mine had Shadows of Brimstone, and I played with him. So I don't own a copy of it right now, but I think you can download the rulebook online. But okay, that was my thinking too. So I'm glad I got some confirmation there about kind of the thinking about the lineage of these different games. Now, what I was wrong about, which we found out early when we did this, is that Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing existed before Advanced Hero Quest. And I had thought that probably what happened was that that Advanced Hero Quest had gotten so detailed, they were like, okay, we should take this in the direction of a full-fledged RPG and then do something like Warhammer Quest that is not that involved. But it was not. That surprised me. So they had Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing there to guide them, I guess, in the creation of Advanced Hero Quest. So that may be why it was so crunchy. So in the settlement, the first thing to do when the warriors arrive at their destination is to nominate one of the players to keep track of how long they stay in the settlement. Oh, time records. Sable Phoenix, time records. The length of the warrior's stay determines how much they can achieve and how much they have to spend to survive. Every day the warriors spend in a settlement, each warrior must do the following. Oh, this is every day, not every week. Hang on, just changing something over at the moment. Okay. Okay, so every day you've got to roll. Every day the warriors spend in a settlement, each warrior must do the following. Each warrior can undertake a settlement activity, which is either A, visit one trader and attempt to buy and sell one or more items, or B, visit one special location such as the Alchemist's Laboratory, the Wizard's Guild, or the Temple, etc. Each warrior generates a settlement event. Each warrior must pay his living experiences. Oh, that's 2. So 2, each warrior must do a settlement event. And 3, each warrior must living expenses. Whoop. Are you telling me you're not going to play Shadows of Brimstone? Tiny Tactician says, if you're interested in streamlined mechanics for an RPG adventure board game combo, I recommend Folklore: The Affliction. I think I've heard of that. Okay, that is what I thought it was. An adventure. So this is an adventure board game. Oh, it is an adventure board game. So Folklore: The Affliction is an adventure board game for 1 to 5 players in which your characters progress through a series of stories and their quest to rid the land of evil. Each story is broken into chapters, allowing players to control the length of each game session. Most chapters take 40 to 60 minutes to complete. Oh, okay. I had not looked into it that deeply, but I have seen this. Oh, yes. That was a no, I'm not going to do the Gary Gygax all caps quotes. Ah, yes. Okay. Full details and rules for each of these above are listed on the next few pages. Is sometimes it dropping the preview here? I'm not sure. It is raining outside. If we got some kind of bad weather or something. Buying equipment. Each day during the warrior's stay in a settlement, he may visit one trader and attempt to buy and sell one or more items there. This is termed a settlement activity. If your warrior visits a trader, he may do nothing else that day except roll a settlement event and pay his living expenses. Each trader may be visited once by each warrior during a single stay. A warrior cannot visit the same trader twice in the same settlement. A warrior can buy and sell as many items as he wants from one trader while he is there. The equipment tables at the end of the section list all the traders and items, the equipment that are available. The traders and the warriors may visit The traders that the warriors may visit are the weaponsmith, the armorer, the fletcher, the gunsmith, the animal handler, and the general store. Some weapons and items and equipment are not available to certain types of warriors, as they are too alien for that warrior's nature and training. Wizards, for instance, never wear armor as it restricts the fine movements required for spellcasting and dulls the flow of magical energy. Elves, on the other hand, although they may wear elven armor, never use certain weapons such as... It just looks like it flashes down on the stream, on my side anyway. Didn't we have that trouble like a week or two ago? I'm not sure what the deal is. Each equipment table has 4 columns marked B, Barbarian, D, Dwarf, E, Elf, and W, Wizard, that indicate whether a particular type of item may be bought by each type of warrior. If the item is available to the warrior, the relevant column contains a tick. Okay, we do determine the shocks stop. Yeah, I am getting some stops and stutters. Better with Bacon says there's a minor amount of desync with your sound. You mean to exit and come back in? Let me exit and come back in. Just 1 second. This should not leave this. This should not leave the stream. Hopefully this doesn't take us down. We'll see. It appears to have fixed itself. Okay. Well, we'll see about now. It was flashing on my side, up and down. So, all right. So we got to determine what kind of stock is in the shop. Each equipment table, and I say I like this. We got different kinds of shops. We're using 1 day here. So settlements and shopping. One visit to a store per day. Event and living expenses. Determining stock. Each equipment table has a column marked stock. The number in the column is used to determine whether the item your warrior wishes to buy is in stock. Each time your warrior wants to buy something, he must roll against the number on the stock to see if it is available. If your warrior is shopping in a village, you must roll equal to or greater that number in the stock column on a 1d6 for that to be available. If your warrior is shopping in a town, you must roll equal to or greater than the number in the stock column on 2d6 to be available. And if you're in a city, it is 3d6. For example, your warrior is in a town armorer trying to buy a great shield. The number in the stock column of the armorer's equipment table for the great shield is 9. You must therefore roll 9 or better on a 2d6 because your warrior is in a town for a great shield to become available. Oh, so that's probably limiting some things that are just not available at certain size right here. Okay, good. I'm glad it's much better. I see in the chat. Okay, time wasting. If you roll on the stock dice to see if an item is available, find it is, but decide your warrior doesn't want it after all, the trader throws your warrior out of his shop for wasting his time. Prices. Each equipment table has 2 columns, one marked price buy and the other marked price sell. As the name suggests, the price buy column shows the amount of gold it costs for the warrior to buy a single one of those items, while the price sell column shows the amount of gold the trader gives the warrior to buy back a single one of those items. Any item of treasure that your warrior has may be sold at any time within the settlement, subject to the restrictions of the treasure card. Simply discard the item of treasure and add its gold value to your warrior's total. Then we have special locations. Compared to the hundreds of villages that litter the Warhammer world, The bigger settlements like Altdorf and Prague attract a manner of obscure, mighty traders. In a town or city, even the dwarf or elf might find some of their kin trading in a remote corner of the city. The wizard may find that the settlement has established a wizard's guild. The barbarian may have endless choices of ale houses and bars to visit. On the outskirts of a town or city, there may be a warrior training grounds, ringing to the sound of swordplay and the thunk of arrows hitting targets, where the warrior can practice his skills and will keep them alive. That will keep them alive in the next dungeon. So, while in a settlement, there are a number of these special locations the warrior can visit. They're listed over the next few pages, starting in the alchemist's laboratory. If the warrior chooses to visit a special location, he can do nothing else of his own volition that day, such as visit a trader to buy or sell equipment. A warrior may only visit a special location once during a single stay. He cannot visit the same special location twice in the same settlement. Once a warrior is at a certain special location, he can do everything that's possible to do there in one visit. In the same way that certain items of equipment are more difficult to find in smaller settlements, it's less likely they have the special locations possible. You aren't likely to find a powerful wizard in a small hamlet, for instance. Villages, therefore, do not have any special locations, but see alehouses below. You can find a particular special location in a town on a roll of a 7 over 2d6. You're generating since we're going to an abstracted kind of settlement, you're generating it on the fly, which is helpful because it's taking load off of a game master. This is cooperative anyway. So you all sit down to play and you don't have to that somebody else, some game master, someone has been playing the game master and designed all of this for you. I like that. I suppose if you're playing in some kind of multi-person campaign, well, then you could mark down, I guess, where it is and what actual stuff is there when it's discovered. And that way it would be there for somebody else to reference. Titterpig says, this is striking me as a more detailed kind of downtime that Shadow Dark used for carousing. Yeah, Shadow Dark did have carousing, right? You had to go carousing in order to level up and things like that. But this is more detailed. Yes, I think you're right. There is more here than is in Shadow Dark's carousing. I think you're right. So 7 on a 2d6 at a town or 7 on a 3d6 in a city. Each warrior who wishes to visit a special location must roll to see if he finds it independently of the other warriors. Okay. If your warrior doesn't find the special location he's looking for, he wastes a day and may do nothing else except roll a settlement event and pay his living expenses. The next day, he may try to find either the same or a different special location again. Okay. The only exception to the above rules is the ale house. Given how most warriors spend their free time, it is unknown for any settlement, including villages, to not have an ale house. So they all have an ale house. Okay. First we've got Alchemist Laboratory. The Alchemist Laboratory is a very curious place in which the air is filled with noxious vapors spat from hissing and bubbling vats and jars. Intricately shaped pipes snake between these delicately balanced glass containers, carrying volatile liquids that boil and spit. The sole purpose of this strange array of equipment is to turn base metals into gold, a sight to please any warrior. So who can visit the alchemist? There are no restrictions upon who can visit the alchemist. Paying and services. The alchemist takes any one unused item of equipment or treasure and attempts to turn it into gold. Discard the equipment or treasure card. To determine how much gold the item is turned into, roll as many dice as you like, add up the scores, and multiply the result by 50. However, if any of the dice come up as 1, the transmutation fails and the item fizzles away and there's nothing left but a pile of sludge. The alchemist takes half of the total gold as his fee. Okay, I thought you were going to be buying potions at the alchemists. I thought that's where you were going to get to buy all of your neat potions and stock up there. Oh, this was the shucked oyster adds a ton of detail to carousing in Shadow Dark. I did not follow that. Where does one get the shucked oyster? So it was on Kickstarter. Alehouse. After many weeks or months in the wild, the first place a warrior is likely to head when he gets to civilization is the alehouse. The reason for this is not just to drink vast quantities of the strongest brew in the house, although that's certainly a major reason for the visit. It's just as likely that the object of the exercise is to meet like-minded warriors with many to tell of brave adventures. Barbarians in particular are renowned for staying at the alehouse long into the night, singing bawdy war songs and reliving past glories. Most settlements have at least one bar set aside specifically for this purpose, as drunken barbarians can be very destructive and are best often left to their own devices. To the warrior, the benefit of attending such gatherings, apart from the quality and quantity of ale to be quaffed, is that the other warriors can give sound advice for survival in the hospitable depths of the dungeon. These are the tricks of the warrior's trade and help him out of many sticky situations. When they may range from certain unusual and unlikely sword thrust, which they may range from unusual. Okay, let me say it again. They may range from certain unusual and unlikely sword thrusts or parries to advice on what sounds, smells, and signals of the dungeon may signify danger. So, who can visit the alehouse? There's no restrictions upon who can visit the alehouse, although only dwarves and barbarians may enter with the confidence they are walking out again in one piece. So, to determine what happens to each warrior who enters the alehouse, roll the following number of dice on the alehouse event table: Barbarian 2d6, Dwarf 2d6, Elf 2d6 minus 4, Wizard 2d6 minus 3. If the total is 2 or less, treat it as a 2. Okay, so what happens to you? So 2 is if, as your warrior sits quietly in the corner supping his ale, a barbarian resplendent in the very best furs invites himself to join you. The jingle of gold and jewels as he sits suggests he is fairly wealthy. He introduces himself as Ragnar the Terrible and buys a round of drinks. He confides that he has in his possession the talisman of Eric, and this is the secret of his fortune. He explains that he has chosen your warrior to take it off his hands, as it may only be carried for a year and a day before the curse takes effect, and any wealth gained from it is lost tenfold. This wondrous artifact only costs 500 gold, as well as attracting the wealth. It will render the wearer invulnerable. Parting with his gold with unheard of eagerness, your warrior, so you have to pay. Parting with his gold with unheard of eagerness, your warrior takes the talisman and places it around his neck. He exchanges small talk for a while, then Ragnar tearfully bids him farewell, explaining he can no longer be so close to the object of good fortune, now that it's no longer his. Moments after Ragnar has left, a warhammer smacks your warrior over the back of the head. Surprisingly, considering he now wears the talisman, the blow is excruciatingly painful. Mate, grunts a drunken dwarf behind him, waving the offending weapon. I think you've been ad. The talisman is indeed fake. If your warrior didn't have 500 gold, he gave Ragnar what gold he did have, plus 1 treasure card to make up the balance. Now, that's quite a story right there for number 2. Better with Bacon says, I counted the dwarf with this beard. I'm going to the alehouse. Yes, very dwarf-like. That is pretty rough, Mike says. You just roll and that happens. 3, your warrior ends up very drunk and is thus short of 1d6 times 100 gold. 4, Griswold the Mad, famed Wolverine keeper, offers your warrior a wager that he cannot last a round in the fighting pit with his pack of enraged beasts. If your warrior accepts his wager, he may bet up to 200 gold coins in his victory. Griswold matches his bet, as will 1d3 other onlookers, with the winner keeping the spoils. Roll 1d6 to determine the results. 1. After 10 minutes or so, your warrior is just dispatching the last of the Wolverines when an enraged shout brings him out of his frenzy. It's the true owner of the beast and he is incensed that your warrior has killed them. He takes the pool of money as recompense for his loss. 2 to 3. After a few minutes of being ripped, torn, and bitten, your warrior makes a break for it, leaping from the pit to escape. Of course, this also means he loses the bet. Or 4 to 6, your warrior makes mincemeat of the Wolverines, dispatching the beast with the fury of well-placed blows. The alehouse erupts in a frenzy of cheering. Your warrior wins the wager and may claim all of the money. A pack of Wolverines. Yeah, I know. So what's the higher values here? It's like a 12, okay, which the wizard and the elf cannot roll. 12 is a muscle-bound mercenary from Marienburg, gives your warrior a practical demonstration of the two-handed, double-handed strike. The timing has to be perfect, but the damage inflicted by 2 simultaneous weapon strikes can be devastating. When he wakes up and collects his teeth, your warrior returns the compliment. and has soon mastered the art. Your warrior now gets +1 attack once per dungeon. I thought things like that were going to be happening here. Or 11, a scarred and drunken Kislevite raider demonstrates to your warrior the art of playing dead. After some practice, your warrior learns how to feign death even without the aid of alcohol. Using this skill, your warrior may play dead once per adventure. Place his miniature flat on the table to indicate that he is in this state. While he is playing dead, there are other warriors still standing. No monster will attack your warrior. However, only action he may take while in the pseudo-dead state is to serendipitously swig potions. Of course, once other warriors are dead, the monster will start rifling, or more often eating the bodies, and therefore discover your warrior is still alive, whereupon they will all set upon him, hitting automatically. At the start of your turn, you can declare your warrior is no longer playing dead and can stand up his miniature back up. I thought there was going to be something in here about, like, we weren't exactly drawing for traps, but like if you were drawing for traps or something like that, that you got this warning from somebody here in the alehouse and you could redraw. Let's go down to Dwarven Guildmaster. While in a settlement, the dwarf may visit his kin and buy special crafted items available elsewhere. Dwarf guildmasters are skilled at working metals and jewels and have great knowledge of the mechanics, engines, gunpowder, and other arcane sciences. Who can visit the dwarf guildmasters? Only the dwarf. Payments for goods and services. Payment for dwarf goods. While at the dwarf guildmaster, dwarf may buy any of the followings if they are in stock. The lock tools, buy 200, stock number of 7. 1d6 fire bombs, 1d6 bags of flash powder, 1d6 loaves of dwarf stone bread. So the lock tools allow the user to open any lock as long as it's not magical or the rules of the lock specifically state otherwise. To see if your warrior can open a lock, roll d6. On a score of 4, 5, or 6, the lock opens. On a score of 2 or 3, the lock refuses to open at the moment, though your warrior may try again next turn. On a score of 1, the lock tools are snapped off from the lock and are now useless. There's only one set of lock tools available at each dwarf guildmasters. Oh, that only the dwarf can go and visit here? The Warhammer universe. Firebomb may be thrown at any time and affects an area of 2 squares by 2 squares. Any model in the area takes 1d6 wounds with no deductions for toughness or armor. Any number of firebombs up to the number available. Is that cost per 1? So if you roll and he's got firebombs, he's got 1d6 firebombs, and each one of them is 100 gold coins? Or is it 100 gold coins for those 1d6 firebombs, making them variable in cost? This down here makes it seem like you're buying 1 firebomb for 100 gold coins. Flash powder. The flash powder may be set off at any time to confuse the warrior's enemies. After it's exploded, any warrior who has not fought yet this turn gets +1 attacks. Your warrior may buy any number of bags of flash powder up to the number available. Dwarven stone bread. Dwarf stone bread is exactly what the name suggests. Bread with the consistency of stone. No one but a dwarf would contemplate eating the stuff. It has to do with as to do so is like asking for a mouthful of broken teeth. Dwarves take the gruff satisfaction in the fact that only they can manage to eat stone bread. Eating stone bread is obviously no quick task, even for dwarves. If a dwarf does nothing else for the turn except for stay where he is and eat stone bread, then at the end of the warrior's phase, he gains 1d6 wounds. Regains. Once you've rolled to see how many stone bread is available, your warrior must purchase all of it. If he doesn't have enough gold to pay, it's time wasting. So he's got to take it all. Okay. The Runesmith. While at the Dwarven Guildmasters, the dwarf may make 1 visit to the Runesmith to engrave a single rune on his axe. It costs 1d6 plus 2 times 100 gold. The following, to determine the exact runes inscribed, roll 1d6 on the following table. 1 magic rune. The rune glows dully, keeping the blade sharp. From now on, this weapon is treated as being magical. Ignore a point of armor. The Death Rune. Once during each adventure, you may roll an extra 2d6 when determining damage. Only axes may be so inscribed. If more than one rune has been inscribed, then the effects are cumulative. So 2 death runes give you 46 damage. For instance, cause the weapon to inflict the extra damage twice per adventure, or once with the 46 for the same blow. You must declare your warriors using the rune before rolling the die to hit. If you miss, the rune is wasted. Oh. Elf quarter. Well, in fact, might be my computer that's slow here. I've got to get some more water here. I'm going to grab something to drink.
Cream and onion!
Gather round the bird bath shrine with our tools for a rite divine. There's the squid-like thing the witches brought, a ritual sacrifice so dearly bought. We've chanted the spells and done all that we ought. We got an orgy and branded human skin. Now with the greenstone idol, we're ready to begin. But something's just not right, there's still a final key, a secret ingredient to set Cthulhu free. Sea lettuce, algae, and the finest sea salt, octopus powder from the wizard's vault. Teriyaki chips aren't just a snack, they're the spell components to bring Cthulhu back. Oh, you can summon Cthulhu with sour cream and onion. They have no magic power, they're just for munching. If you want to wake Cthulhu from his sleep, you need teriyaki flavors from oceans deep. Oh, you can summon Cthulhu with sour cream and onion. They have no magic power, they're just for munching.
All right, back. Yes. You know, yeah. Oh, I didn't play Yeti, so I need to add these 2 things in here. We should play Yeti because there was a break. Okay, break time.
Oh, it's time for a Yeti hug break. Yeti hug break. Yeti hug break. Everybody, go hug yo Yeti and show yo Yeti some love.
We should probably that could be its own song. I don't know where I'd put it, but the Yeti hug break might need its own complete song. Oh, yeah, man, I should work on it. We need a custom channel emote for Cthulhu's sour cream and onion chips. There were some of those that I never got to make, like some from Xanadu. All right, the Elf Quarter. While in a settlement, the elf may visit his kin and buy special crafted items unavailable elsewhere. He can also search elf markets for the rare herbs and spices he needs to make healing potions and salves. Who can visit the Elf Quarter? Only the elf may visit the Elf Quarter, as they refuse access to anyone who is not their own race. Payment and elf goods. While in the Elf Quarter, the elf may buy any of the following items if they are in stock. 1d6 plus 2 arrows of sure flight. Elf boots, elf bow, elf cloak, elf helm, elf rope, elf shield. 1d6 elf waybread, healing herbs, elven armor. The arrows of sure flight add +1 to missile combat to hit rolls. Each arrow is good for 1 shot and then must be discarded. They are treated as normal arrows by other people. Elf boots get you +1 movement. Elf bow. While using an elf bow, your warrior may make as many shots as he has attacks, all at full strength. An elf bow may be only used by the elf. Elf helm adds +1 to warrior's toughness. In addition, when your warrior is hit, it may elect that he has taken the blow to the head. He may elect he has taken a blow to the head and roll 1d6 on the following table. 1. The elf helm absorbed all the damage from the blow, but is destroyed in the process. 2 to 4, the blow is resolved as normal. The elf helm bestowing +1 toughness on your warrior as usual. Or 5 to 6, the blow glances off the helm, causing no damage at all. Only an elf may wear the elf helm. So you can choose whether or not to use the helmet. And on the roll of a 1, it absorbs all the damage, but is destroyed. Elf rope. Exquisite construction, and after use only breaks on the roll of a 1. Healing herbs. Upon paying his 1d6 times 100 gold, the elf gets enough herbal ingredients to make 1d6 healing potions, each of which heal 1d6 wounds. Because the elf in this is the one who's carrying the healing potion, with very liberal rules about its use. Elf waybread. Elves always embark upon long journeys or adventures with a good supply of this nutritious, delicious, cake-like food. Each cake restores 1 wound to the warrior that consumes it. Unlike normal provisions, elf waybread only goes off at the end of the adventure. Goes off at the end of the adventure on a 1d6 roll of 1. Each cake restores 1 wound to the warrior that consumes it. What does going off at the end of an adventure mean? So, elven armor. This armor looks extremely delicate when compared to the hammered iron plates of human and dwarf armor, but it's in fact one of the most effective protections in the world. While wearing elven armor, your warrior gets +1 toughness. In addition, if the attacker gets a damage dice score of an modified 1 or 2, ignore these dice when resolving the damage of the blow. If any of the attacker's damage dice score an unmodified 1 or 2, ignore those dice. Elf cloak. Every time your warrior is hit while wearing an elf cloak, you can ignore the first wound caused by the blow. However, every time the cloak absorbs damage like this on a roll of 1, it becomes useless. The shield. While using an elf shield, your warrior can ignore the first blow inflicted upon him each turn unless the roll to hit was an unmodified 6, in which case the shield has no effect. Elves got a lot of buffs. Oh, goes bad. Oh, okay. The titter pig. Yeah, okay. So, and Mike was telling me that that's a British-ism. Going off means going stale. So maybe the other ones, unlike normal provisions, elf waybread only goes off at the end of an adventure on a roll of 1d6, roll of 1. Maybe other provisions are more easily spoilt. You can visit the Master Craftsman, which is an elf skilled in metalworking and weaponsmithing. See if they can repair and salvage armor. Oh, this has been battered and broken in the last dungeon. The cost of such repairs is 1d6 times 100. Each item, helmet, shield, or armor must be rolled and paid separately. Once the gold has been paid, roll 1d6. On a score of 2 or more, the armor is fully repaired and may be used once more. On a score of 1, the armor is beyond repair and the money is wasted. Gambling house. Anybody can visit the gambling house. It says, unlike with other special locations, your warrior may visit the gambling house as often as you like during his stay in a single settlement. Each visit to the gambling house takes up the whole of the warrior's day. Gambling. Declare how much your warrior is gambling up to a maximum of 200 gold in 1 visit and roll 1d6 on the following table. So you can win money or lose money. The temple. Anybody can go to. Each warrior who attends the temple may give 50 gold in sacrifice. He is then entitled to roll on one of the following tables. On the following table. The gods are not listening. During the next turn of the adventure, your warrior attacks are doubled. During any one turn of the next adventure, your warrior's attacks are doubled. Your warrior's hand is guided by powers unseen. For one attack in the next adventure, you may add +3 to your roll. PH says, what is steel? Okay, Wizards Guild. What happens to the Wizards Guild? Only the wizard may visit the Wizards Guild. Barbarians and dwarves never visit wizards, as they have no time for magic and spellcasting, while an elf knows little of mankind's magic. Mages Guild demands 1d6 times 50 gold for a consultation. If you don't have enough gold, you have to leave immediately. The consultation. Roll a die on the following table for the consultation. The number of the second column or third column is the number of rolls the wizard then gets on the wizard guild table. Town 1, 2, or 3, city 2, 2, or 3. For example, your warrior goes to consult a wizard in the city. You roll a 4 on the table above and may therefore make 2 rolls on the wizard guild table. What can happen? As example, cutting edge. Choose any one of your wizard's bladed weapons. At any one time during the next adventure, one attack using that weapon inflicts an extra 1d6 extra wounds. It'd be nice if you had like cards or something for this, but that'd be a lot of them. Better with Bacon says, elves taught mankind their magic in the setting because they needed to control it for not trusting mankind to use it, because they needed to control it for not trusting mankind to use it responsibly. Dragon toughness. At any one time during the next adventure, for one turn, your wizard can add 1d6 to his toughness. Or roll 1d6 on the following table to determine how many wounds are permanently added to your wizard's starting wounds. That's nice. Or cheat death. The next time your wizard is reduced to 0 wounds, this magic spell deflects the killing blow and causes no damage. These are like minor. They are like minor magic spells to take. The extra wounds, though, that one's like permanent and immediate right then. But these other ones, you got to remember you've got. Oh, you can buy. This is where you can buy magic potions here. Better with Bacon says, additionally, dwarves are almost entirely resistant to magic. That's why they use runes instead. Gamer's Quest said, I feel as though the cards were implemented specifically for the base game, but they thought that if you're using the role-play books, tables were more acceptable. Well, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with these tables. So this is being done in downtime. So I don't have a problem with necessarily these tables. And I guess if you did have the cards, that means you could actually draw them. I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about some type of way to remember that you have this special power. So anything that you need to take with you could be like, you know, a card or something that you will have. Better with Bacon says, admittedly, there are a number of retcons in the setting. It wasn't originally planned to be so robust, so they added lore. Things changed. Okay, so you can buy magic potions. The wizard must declare that he's going to buy some potions before he rolls the die and see how much potions cost and how many are for sale. Once he's committed himself to buying magic potions, he cannot back out when he finds how expensive they are. The total value for the items comes at 1d6 times 100. For this amount of money, the wizard gets 1d6 potions. This means that at one extreme, he may spend 100 gold and find 6 potions, while at the other, he may spend 600 gold and only get 1 potion. Any warrior may drink a potion. If different potions are drunk at the same time, their effects are cumulative. Multiple potions of the same type have no further effect though. So we've got potions of strength, +1 strength, toughness, potion of battle gets you +1 attack, swiftness, +1d6 movement, and the ability to automatically break from pinning for 1 turn. Potion of stability, this potion shifts the dimensional position of your warrior, making him temporarily ethereal and insubstantial. He cannot be pinned, make an attack, cast magic, or be attacked for 1 turn. Potion of flight. Fly 1d6 plus 2 squares. They've got a lot of stuff in here. Yeah, you'd just have to write it down. You would likely note this on your character sheet, which is when using the role-playing rules or longer. Yeah. So the wizard's staff, for a cost of 500 gold coins, to determine if there is one available when the wizard visits the guild, roll 1d6. On a score of 4, 5, or 6, there's 1 for sale. The wizard may only ever have 1 wizard staff. The wizard may use the staff in hand-to-hand combat at -1 on his to-hit roll. It causes 1d6 plus the wizard's strength, wounds on the target. It can also be wielded defensively, giving the wizard +1 toughness when he carries it. The staff is inherently magical, and once per adventure, you can use it in the power phase to re-roll the wizard power and perhaps avoid an unexpected event. The wizard staff comes with 1d6 points of power already stored in it, which the wizard can use the same way as his power tokens. To recharge, he must visit a font of power. The font of power, while at the Wizard's Guild, the wizard can visit the font of power to recharge his staff. The total cost of the charging process is 1d6 times 100 gold. For this amount of money, the staff is recharged with 1d6 points of power. These points of power are used to augment the wizard's spellcasting ability as normal. The spell wizard cast, once this power is used up, is gone for good, or at least until the next time a wizard recharges his staff here at the font. The wizard staff may never contain more than 6 points of power at a time. Oh, this also allows him to change his spells, because those were drawn and then those stayed with you. Yeah, Potion of Flight. PH says take 1d6 damage from hitting your head on the dungeon ceiling. Do we need to know the height of the dungeon rooms? I was wondering that. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that when my nephews were flying around in Dragon Strike the other day. How tall are these caves? You're going to implement combat squares and magic systems into your game? Okay, so you can try to change your spells too. All right, you got to roll on settlement events. Let's see. Living expenses. Let's just see how we do these. So just as traveling from settlement to settlement can be extremely hazardous, staying in a teeming town or city in the Warhammer world can also be potentially dangerous. Settlements are busy places, and there's always some way that strangers can end up in terrible trouble. Most settlements' inhabitants tend to be suspicious of strangers, and if anything goes wrong in the settlement during the warrior's stay, it is likely they will be blamed. At the same time, the warriors must beware of pickpockets, muggers, and thieves, and avoid being conned into buying counterfeit goods. To determine what happens to each warrior during his stay, after the warrior has completed each day's activities, each player must make a D66 roll and consult the settlement events tables. Unlike the hazards encountered when traveling between settlements, settlement events are rolled for each warrior individually rather than for the party as a whole. At the end of the warrior's second week in a settlement, at the end of every week thereafter, in addition to rolling on the settlement events table for each warrior, you must also roll on one for the whole party on the catastrophic events table. Man, you can't just be standing around. If you're going through a dungeon, that's dangerous. If you're trying to get home after a dungeon, that's dangerous. When you're here in the town or the city after the adventure, that's also dangerous. Gamer's Quest says, as a wizard, you can also gain additional spells in the wizard training as you increase battle levels. Okay, so catastrophic event table, roll 2d6, settle down, roll 1d6 for each warrior. The warrior with the lowest score decides to settle down here. His adventuring career is over. Whoa. That means one of you is leaving. Catastrophic event table, settle down, 1d6 for each warrior. The warrior with the lowest score decides to settle down. 3, flood. A nearby river floods the settlement completely. All the rivers and all the traders and special locations shut up shop until the flood waters cease, forcing the party to leave the settlement and head to the next adventure immediately. 4, attack. The settlement is attacked by a marauding band of orcs and goblins, and the warriors are press ganged into its defense. Roll 1d6 for each warrior on the following table. 1, your warrior falls off the settlement's battlements and is killed by the jeering orcs and goblins. 2, your warrior is badly wounded and has to be carried away from the fight. His starting wounds are permanently reduced by 1d6. 3 to 6, the warriors fight well, pushing the orcs and goblins back into the forest. Unfortunately, when the last of the greenskins is dead, the warrior finds they are now 6 weeks' travel from the settlement. Oh, you pursue them. They can go back or enter a nearby set of caves and immediately start their next adventure. Gamer's Quest says it's rare that heroes stay in a settlement for longer than 2 weeks, so catastrophic events are rare. Okay. Yeah, that does give you incentive to stay out, to not stay in for 2 weeks. We got to move on. Hardship. Times are hard and goods that are usually easy to come by are now considered luxury. All prices, including living expenses, see below, are multiplied by 4 as long as the warriors stay in the settlement. No event. You can't have no event. 6 to 9. Disease. Stay and risk catching it, or head out and begin adventure immediately. If the warriors elect to stay, roll 1d6 for each of them. On a score of 1, 2, or 3, the warrior succumbs to disease and dies. Dies. I mean, you gotta get here because you're rolling and you may lose your characters. Like fighting 6 weeks in pursuit of these elves and goblins. Is this the Silmarillion? Yeah, you're really going after these goblins and orcs. Fire. The settlement is set ablaze is soon burning from end to end. And not only the most of the settlement is badly damaged, but the warriors are blamed for the fire and thrown out. Plague. 1d6 for each warrior. The warrior with the lowest score is stricken with the plague. If not cured at a cost of 1d6 times 200 gold, the warrior suffers immense agony and dies. So living expenses, unlike when they are foraging in the wild or eating unpalatable rations on the trail, when in a settlement, the warriors must pay living expenses. These cover food, board, and other incidental expenses that the warrior incurs while remaining between adventures. The actual amount of living expenses the warrior spends depends on the size of the settlement the party is staying in. Village 1 gold, town 2 gold, city 3 gold per day. The warrior can stay in the settlement as long as they like, assuming the time is not pressing, but each must pay his living expenses every night to cover their food and shelter. If your warrior is unable to pay his living expenses, he must sell equipment to cover the debt. If doing this does not raise enough money, he must leave the settlement immediately and wait for his companions outside. Waiting outside. On occasions, one or more warrior in the party may be thrown out of the settlement, usually for doing things or because they've been blamed for bad things that they shouldn't have done. In this case, the warrior concerned must wait outside the settlement until the rest of the warriors finish their business and rejoin them. So this is our daily events table. Okay, yeah, right, yeah. This is so that I was just about to say that. So this is the settlement events that's daily, and everybody rolls this individually. And this is a D66? This is a D66. We do have some things that are uneventful days. Join the watch. Illness, pet dog. The warrior is adopted by a small dog. Crime. Your warrior is accused of murder and thrown in jail. The matter is sorted out eventually, but only after your warrior's companions have bailed him out. Each warrior of the party, except the accused, must pay 1d6 times 5 gold to the authorities. If his companions do not have the money, your warrior must spend 1d6 days in jail. While in jail, he doesn't have to pay living expenses or roll on this table. Okay. Your warrior is accused of witchcraft and is chased through the streets by an angry mob. Roll 1d6 on the following table. Your warrior escapes by jumping over the settlement wall and into the filthy water of the moat. Pelted with eggs and rotten fruit, he staggers out to the far side where he has to wait outside for his companions. Or your warrior ducks down a side alley and escapes, but from now on must wear a disguise when in public. 6. Your warrior turns angrily on the mob, demanding an explanation. Shouting down the leader of the mob, he establishes his authority over the crowd, who sheepishly returns to their hovels, pausing only to give him 100 gold as a way of compensation. An honest day's work. Your warrior is employed by a local merchant to carry bales of cotton to the riverside that day. The task earns him 20 gold. Riotous living. Taken by the joys of hot food and comfortable bed after so long in the wild, your warrior overspends on such luxuries by 50 gold. Oh, then we do have the equipment tables here. Oh, so this is the armorer. So these are the not special locations. Gamer's Quest says these travel hazard and settlement event tables have been extensively and beautifully expanded by the fan community. Little Monk's expansion in particularly really enriched the game. Do we have a link to those that we can put in the Discord server? So Little Monk has made different versions of the settlement tables, one for the village, others for town, another for the cities. He's also expanded the Ale House and other special locations. Cool, very cool. PH says, well, one cannot say this isn't creative and thematic. Yeah, it really is. So the armor, so this is set up so like at the armor, if you want leather armor, the barbarian, the dwarf, and the elf can wear that. The stock number is 5, the cost to buy is 40, and the selling is 20. And you get special rules. +1, toughness destroyed by the first blow that scores a natural 6 for wounds. Or if the warrior is wearing it, is reduced to 0 wounds. Furs, stock 5 by 300. +1 toughness may be worn in addition to chainmail or light armor, in which case it causes -1 movement and -1 to all hit rolls. You have the mail armor, +2 toughness, -1 movement. Light armor, +2 toughness. Heavy armor, +3 toughness, -1 movement, except for the dwarf. Plate armor, +4 toughness. A shield, +1 toughness. While using a shield, you can't use a two-handed weapon, obviously. Great shield, +2 toughness, -1 movement. Shields are only effective against hand-to-hand and missile weapon attacks, not against fire or magic. Leather helm, +1 toughness, destroyed by the first blow that scores a natural 6 for wounds. You got to remember that, though. Or if the warrior wearing it is reduced to 0 wounds. Open helmet, +1 toughness. War helm, +2 toughness. So you can really increase your toughness here. The Fletcher, we can pick up short bows, long bows, arrows, fire arrows. A fire arrow, if you hit a target, it may be set alight. Roll 1d6. On a score of 4, 5, or 6, the target is set alight and takes an extra 1d6 wounds, with no modifiers for toughness or armor. Each turn until the damage roll comes up a natural 1 or 2, and then the fire goes out, causing no more wounds. Crossbows are strength 5, 1 shot per turn. Pistol crossbow is strength 3, 3 shots every other turn. The weaponsmith, we've got daggers, knives, sword, longsword, greatsword, axe, battle axe, throwing axe, mace, throwing stars, a bag of those, a flail, a knuckle duster, and a halberd. Animal trader, that's when you get the mule, horse, war horse, and cart helping you get out of there. It's like the mule can carry all your warrior's gear between dungeon, reducing his journey time by 1 week. Increase living expenses by 1 gold per day. Upon departure from a settlement, roll 1d6. On a roll of 1, the mule has been stolen. Horse can carry all of your war gear between dungeons, reducing his journey time by 2 weeks. Increases living expenses by 2 gold per day. Upon departure from a settlement, roll 1d6. On a roll of a 1, the horse has been stolen. The war horse can carry all of your warrior's gear between dungeons, reducing his journey time by 2 weeks. Increased living expenses by 3 gold per day. Upon departure from a settlement, roll 1d6. On the roll of a 1, the war horse has been stolen. If a hazard that occurred on the journey indicates any type of fight, you may add +1 to any dice rolls required. So I was wondering how is it going to help you fight? Because it's not going to go into the dungeon with you. But if a hazard that occurs on the journey indicates any type of fight, add +1 to your dice rolls. The cart can be towed behind a mule horse or a war horse and carry up to 4 warriors and all their gear, reducing the party's journey time by a total of 1 week. All right, everybody, into the cart. Oh, okay, excellent. Thank you. Gamer's Quest said shared links to Little Monk's Facebook group and run board on Discord. Excellent. Thank you. General store, we've got rope and bandages. Each bandage cures 3 wounds. Bandage 3 wounds. Use and then discard. At the end of the adventure, roll 1d6 for each bandage. On a scale of 1, 2, or 3, the bandage has perished and is of no further use. Provisions. So here we go. Each set of provisions restores 2 wounds. So you're not having to eat those for the weeks that go by. You're not having to outfit yourself for the weeks. I was wondering about that. So you're not having to provision yourself for how many weeks you're going to be out there. I guess you're hunting and stuff like that. Because this says each set of provisions restores 2 wounds. At the end of each adventure, unused provisions must be discarded as they have spoiled. So the stone bread or the way bread, I think it was the elven way bread, is less likely to spoil. Much less likely. It's automatic here after an adventure. It's only the roll of a 1 on the other one. Door spikes. Each spike keeps a door shut for 1 turn. To use the spike, your warrior must be adjacent to the door. Once spiked, the door cannot be opened unless it's broken down. To break down a door, a monster must be adjacent to the door. Roll a die and add the monster's strength. Casks of beer. -1 to weapon skill, -1 initiative, +1 strength for the dwarf, +2 bonus, +1 on all fear rolls. Effects last 1 turn. If the wizard drinks it, he can't cast spells for 2 turns. Fine robes, boots, trance stone. This, I think the fine robes and boots was something about you got robbed or you caught on fire or something. You have to go buy fine robes and boots. The gunsmith is where you get braces of pistols. Very classic Warhammer. Wait, so what are the trance stones? The trance stones, if your warrior does nothing, including move, for 1 turn, and there are no monsters on the board, he enters the trance and regains 1 wound. Oh, Have to be no monsters on the board. Does nothing, including move, for 1 turn. Gamer's Quest says, so perhaps also of interest to folks here, there's a fan's backwards conversion of the Warhammer Quest roleplay book to Hero Quest, specifically making the travel and settlements of Warhammer Quest converted to Hero Quest. Oh, okay. That would make sense that somebody's done that. Brace of pistols need gunpowder for each shot, strength 6. Each pistol may make 1 shot every other turn. 6 square range. Musket needs gunpowder to shoot, strength 8, fired at -2 ballistic skill. 1 shot every other turn. If the shot kills the monster, it carries into any other monster standing directly behind at -1 strength for each additional monster killed. Shot, enough shot for a pistol musket to last all adventure. And gunpowder, enough gunpowder for pistol or musket to last all adventures. You've got to buy shot and gunpowder? Yeah, you got to buy shot. Yeah, you got to buy shot and gunpowder. Yeah. So 200 gold to use either pistols or musket in an adventure. So this says, this will be the last thing we look at here. It says major purchases. These are items reserved for the fabulously wealthy warriors who have attained such affluence, that it's likely they are considering retiring, perhaps to become the general of an army or the lord of an immeasurable tract of land. As such, these items serve no actual purpose in the Warhammer Quest game, save for a good measure of how well your warrior is doing. If you decide your warrior purchases at least 1 extravagant item, you may likely give it a name and a history, so you can introduce your warrior as Crom the Barbarian, Lord of Deathcliff Castle, for instance, rather than just Crom. So, like, keep 100,000 gold, a castle 300,000 gold, a palace 400,000, a fortress 600,000, a temple 50,000, or a sailing ship 50,000 gold coins. Next up, tougher monsters. There's a lot in this book. We will see how much we go over. Now, we still have some stuff that Mike sent to unbox. I wasn't feeling like it this morning. I got more energy from having been here, but I wanted to make sure I was very energetic and enthused before we do an unboxing. And I got, I put this in the Discord server. Oh, where did I put it? Oh, I put it over there. But I got this Talisman expansion too, sitting over there now. All right. Well, I guess I am out of here. I enjoyed it. Like I said, hope you are feeling enthusiastic about your day as well. Everybody, I'll see you in the Discord server. Please do go sign up on the giveaway. Go watch some cultists if you haven't. And I will see everybody later. Have a wonderful day. Go forth, be creative, be constructive. Hey, and grind on. Later.